7-3 Polar Coordinates Day 1. Our learning goal is that you will be able to represent complex numbers and their operations on a complex plane. Okay, in this lesson, we're going to be plotting points in the polar coordinate system, and we're going to be looking at the unit circle again. And so you're really going to have to be familiar with the radians around the unit circle. But when you're plotting points in the polar system, you have your ordered pair, R and theta. And R is the directed distance from the pole. So here, this is the center. That yellow looking line, that represents our polar axis. And so that number, R, can be negative, positive, or 0. And theta is the angle. So those are the radians around the circle. So if we had to plot 3 in pi over 4, that means that you would go 3 units out. So it'll be 1, 2, 3. And then you would go up to pi over 4, which is right here. And then you would just extend that line. So that point would be 3 pi over 4. Example 1, plot the points with the following polar coordinates. Before we start plotting, you need to know that if R is positive, that means it's greater than 0, the point is going to lie on the terminal side. Remember, terminal is where it ends. If R is negative, the point is going to lie on the right opposite the terminal side. And then if R is equal to 0, it's going to lie at the pole. The pole is like right at the origin, what we would call the origin. And that is regardless of the value of theta. So let's look at example A. First, to plot it, you want to begin with the 135-degree angle. And let me draw my pole. So 135 degrees would be in this quadrant, right in the middle. And since we're going, our R is 2, here's 135 degrees. It's going to lie on that terminal side. So this is 1, 2. And let me just show you, here's 135 degrees. And make sure you draw it exactly like I did. Okay, part B. We're going to first go to 3 pi over 2. And you should get in the habit of labeling these. I should have labeled this. If it's in degrees, you label them in degrees. So here's 3 pi over 2. Let me do it in a different color. And then since our R is negative, and let me draw my circles. So we have 1, 2, 3. All right, since R is negative, it's going to lie on the opposite, or opposite the terminal side. So instead of it being here, we're going to put it here. And that's the point, -3, 3 pi over 2. And then the last one, we have to go negative pi over 4, which means we have to now go the negative direction, which is clockwise. So negative pi over 4 would be about right here. And so since r is negative, and draw my circles. 1, 2, 3. Then we have to go opposite on the ray. So instead of it being here, it has to be here. So it's like a diagonal. So that's the point, -1, negative pi over 4. Okay, example 2, we're going to plot the points, point, because I'm only going to do one, with the following polar coordinates, and then find another representation of the point which has to meet these 3 criterias. So the point I'm going to plot is 2 and then positive pi over 3. So let's plot this first. So I'm going to go to pi over 3 first, which will be approximately right here. And since r is 2 and it's positive, it's going to fall on the terminal side. So here's my point. So that point is 2 pi over 3. Now, they also want us to find another representation of the point, A, that r is also positive, and they want theta to be in between 2 pi and 4 pi. So basically, all we have to do is add 2 pi. That means we're going around the circle again. So we're going to start at pi over 3, and we're going to pretend like we went all the way around the circle. So I'm going to get a common denominator. And that gives me 7 pi over 3. So my new point would be 2 and 7 pi over 3. So my r won't change for that one. Okay, B. Now they want r to be negative, and now they want theta to be in between 0 and 2 pi. So in order to do that, you're going to add 1 pi to the angle. And you'll do the same thing, get a common denominator. So my new ordered pair, because they wanted r to be negative, is going to be -2 and 4 pi over 3. And then last, they want r to be positive again, and they want theta to be in between -2 pi and 0. So since they want it to be negative, we're going to subtract 2 pi. And I got to get a common denominator. So my new angle is now -5 pi over 3. So my ordered pair, or my point, would be -2, +2, and -5 pi over 3. Okay, so just to recap, if they want it between 2 pi and 4 pi, you add. If they want it between 0 and 2 pi, you're going to add pi. And then if they want it between negative 2 pi and 0, you're going to subtract